In this episode, what about summer vibes?
Hi there, bridal couples to be.
Welcome to How to Get Married in Holland.
The ultimate wedding podcast of and about the Netherlands.
We, wedding ceremony experts, aka celebrants Daphne and Jasperien, share all ins and outs of getting married in our flat and fabulous country.
Enjoy listening.
Summer vibes, let's talk about summer vibes. We, of course, all our listeners will know that we took a break of about a month and a half, which doesn't mean that we didn't do anything, because we've been very busy, of course. But we also, I definitely went on a very, very great trip with my family. So let's talk about what happened over the summer period.
Yeah, of course, it's peak season for us.
Yes.
So it's a very busy season. So that's why we took a podcast break. But you were in our minds because every time I was at a wedding or another happening, I thought, this would be a great episode. And particular during our vacation, because of course we try to get in some free time in between weddings, right? But you went on a very exotic destination.
Yes, it was very far. We went to Peru. My family and I went to
Wow.
Peru, and it was a feast for the senses in all aspects, because it's a fabulous country. It's so different from our country. When we told some guides that our highest mountain is about 300 meters, they had to laugh so much, because we actually did go up to around about 4,000 meters of height. So, they can't imagine a flat country like ours, that we live below sea level, which was very funny. And as I said, a feast for the senses. We saw so much, we learned so much. I didn't see any weddings though. Normally, when you go somewhere, when it's the weekend, you pass the church or very often there's a wedding happening, but that wasn't the case. But I did learn a lot about getting married definitely in a certain part of Peru, in a very southern part of Peru.
Yeah, do tell, because it was quite an interesting
Yes,
story with,
yes.
not as it is traditional, of course, for them, but it doesn't sound traditional to us, does
No,
it?
it did not sound traditional at all. So we went to Lake Titicaca, which is the highest navigable lake in the world. It's about 4,000 meters, I believe, above sea level as well. And in that area, you have a few islands in the lake. So we went there, and we stayed the night with a family, and we had a great guide, and he told us everything about their way of life, and we were very, very surprised to hear that for a long time, when a couple meets, when a boy and a girl, or we were talking boys and girls, meets, they fall in love, and they decide, we think we're a pair. The girl moves out of the house of the parents. She moves to her in-laws, and then they have what they call a 2-year trial period.
Oh, wow. That is a relation test, moving in with your in-laws.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
And then when after those 2 years, the girl decides whether it works or not. Probably it's a mutual thing, but the end is the girl who decides. And when they decide, yes, we are a pair, we will stay together, then they will live together officially. They will build a house, get a house. Always being built with the help of the community, because community's sense is very big. Move in together, live together, but not married yet. So a marriage is something that you do when you can afford it. It's not something that your parents pay. but you pay that yourself. So they have to work for it. And because it's a big party, a lot of money involved, of course, we know. They just
The whole village is
yeah,
invited?
they just work until they have that money available for the official wedding. And so it happened that, for example, our guide, he had a son, a 12-year-old, 11 or 12-year-old son. And so I said, so when did you get married? He said, no, I'm not married yet. Because he didn't have, they had the house, they had the house of their own, and they had a family life, but they were not married yet because they hadn't saved up enough money for the
Oh,
wedding.
they were working towards it.
Yes, so we were very
Yeah.
surprised. We thought it was a very modern thing to live together, start a family without being married. And he said, no, this is how it has always been. It was on the island called Amantaní in Lake Titicaca, and I thought it was very interesting and sounded very modern. Yet it is a tradition of all times.
Wow, totally different.
Totally different. Yes.
Very interesting. But I can imagine, once you're together for, in the case of your guide, for more than a decade or
Yeah.
so, then you really know what you're celebrating,
Yep. Yeah.
at the time that you
guess
do
so.
get married.
Yeah. And then we went to another island, which was also good fun because there they have another totally different culture. The knitting culture is very big there. Now, knitting, but not when you think of knitting, mostly it's women that knit. But in this case, it is the man who knits. And what does he have to do? It's like passing a test when he goes out with a girl. And when they are serious about it, he will have to knit a hat. It's a pointy hat and it's a very, very tight knit. It takes him about 2 months to actually make it. And it has to be very strong and very tight. And when he has finished his work of art, because it is a work of art, he goes to the parents and he holds the hat upside down, a knitted hat, and they tip in about a liter of water, and then they wait and see whether the water actually drips through the hat or not. If it drips through the hat, it's not a good hat. And the boy is not a good party because he's knitted too fast. He wanted to take the quick road to success. And then they just sent him home and said, you come back in 6 months' time, have another try. And
okay, so he does get another chance.
He does get another chance, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that was very interesting. And also the hat, because it's so tightly knit, when he puts it on his head, it has to sort of stand up or half stand up straight. And when it just sort of, sadly falls down, they also say, no, this knit is not tight enough. You haven't tried hard enough. Go home and give it another try. So,
oh wow,
that's
a beautiful symbolism because it's an act of commitment.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Are you ready to invest time, energy, creativity into your relationship?
Yeah.
And it shows in the quality of the hat, really.
Yeah. It
wow.
It was wonderful to see. Also, there was like an indication of they have a colored coded hats, so whether a boy, an adolescent is single or not by the colors of his hat, which is of course very easy. The same goes for the girls, by the way. They have capes, black capes with pompons on it, and when the pompons are really bright colors, then she's single. And if they are, let's say, darker colors, then that's a no-go area because she's married. So it was very, very different from what we know, how we live here. And I don't know, I haven't seen my boys knitting. Don't know about you.
Not so much.
But it was really interesting. It was really interesting.
But the color coding, that's a handy thing, no dating apps needed.
Yeah, I know. It's just very, very easy. And it was so much fun because traditionally on those islands they walk everything. You imagine it's like 4,000 meters high and they walk. We were like out of breath going up a mountain after 200 meters, but they're used to it. However, of course, the modern means of transportation have entered there as well, and the most popular boys are the boys who have a motorbike going up the mountains.
Yeah.
A motorbike and a boombox, like a device to play music with.
And a red, white collared hat.
And of course, a red, white collared hat.
That's the combination.
Yes. So that was our holiday. It was fabulous. It was unforgettable. We saw and lived through so many different experiences. It's we're going to carry that with us for a long time to come.
Yeah, I can imagine you've created wonderful memories over there.
Yes, absolutely. So what shall we do? Shall we talk about your summer, or shall we leave it at this and do that for next time?
Yeah, let's take it to the next episode.
Speak to you then.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to How to Get Married in Holland.
We look forward to share more about organizing your wedding day in the Netherlands in the next episode.
Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss anything.
Any questions in the meantime?
Please ask Wedding Celebrants Daphne or Jasperien. You can find us, plus the show notes, on Instagram.
And if you love this podcast, please leave a review.
It gives us a higher ranking, so more fun international couples with Dutch wedding plans will be able to find us.
Until next time.